Going off. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our May meeting of ANC 2C, representing a Penn Quarter Chinatown area of DC. I am Commissioner Michael Schenkel, and I'm the chair of ANC 2C and the commissioner for SMD 01, 2C01, which incorporates the Penn Quarter, Chinatown, and some of the downtown area as well. I would like to introduce our commissioners and have them introduce themselves. If we start on the end there with Rebecca.
I'm Becky Strauss, representing 2CO2, which is downtown K Street.
My name is Thomas Lee. I represent 2CO3, that is the National Mall and Penn Quarter.
We do have a quorum of commissioners present, 3 of 3 commissioners present. I just want to also just put out that we are missing a commissioner for 2C04, which represents the city center area. So if anybody knows of anybody who's interested in running for that seat, we highly encourage you to consider that in the fall, as that will be coming up shortly. In the meantime, I would like to quickly review the agenda for approval. All right. So tonight's meeting, we have a fairly long agenda. We will start with the election of our secretary position. We will approve our minutes for for March and April. We will have a treasurer's report and we'll review our financial quarterly reports for the last several quarters. We will make a budget revision related to interpretation services. We will start with some community announcements in which we will talk we will get updates from MPD2, MPD1, the council member's office, and then we'll have some special presentations from the mayor's office related to the mayor's budget presentation for 2025. We've also invited Garen Price, the executive director and CEO of the Downtown Bed, along with Lucas, to present with us this evening. We will then move into some local events that impact the community, and we'll hear about the upcoming Fringe Festival. We will hear from Basis DC regarding a petition to amend their charter. We have 4 APCA license, alcoholic beverage cannabis licensing items to discuss this evening. And then we will quickly march into some DDOT, Department of Transportation and Public Space approvals. And we'll end our evening talking about zoning, planning, environment, and historic preservation activities. Are there any other agenda items for the agenda or any modifications? Is there an approval to a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Strauss. I will second that motion. All those in favor? So 3 of 4 commissioners voting, 3 of 3. I have to get used to that. 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. So the agenda is approved for tonight's meeting. With the resignation of Commissioner Rowe at the end of March, we are required to elect a secretary to fill that position. Thomas is not able to be secretary because he is treasurer of the board. They can't hold the same position. So if I would like to nominate Commissioner Strauss for secretary. Seconded by Commissioner Lee. And all those in favor? So, ooh, that's good. She votes in favor. That's a good sign. So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. Thank you, Commissioner Strauss, for that. Have you had the opportunity, commissioners, to review the minutes of March and April?
I move to approve those minutes.
So there has been a motion to approve the March 12th and April 15th amendments, minutes. I will second that. All those in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. Terrific. Voting in favor of that. So the minutes will be posted on our website later this evening for access. Commissioner Lee has asked that we postpone the treasurer's report momentarily, and we will move forward with hearing from MPD 2 regarding district crime and awareness. And is Lieutenant Garvin on with us? Or someone from MPD 2? I would like to.
Hello.
Hey, hi, how are you? Lieutenant
Yes.
Rob?
Yes. How are you? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Good. I'm Sergeant Robinson with the Metropolitan Police Department. I supervise the Georgetown area. I will be doing the crime stats for the PSA 209 location that includes the downtown area.
Thank you for that. If you want to go ahead and do that. I just wanted to make a small announcement before you did that tonight we are, as you will see on your screens when you logged in, if you logged in remotely or you log in on your mobile device while you're in the room, you will see translation of our meeting this evening. That is available for individuals. We would like to have your feedback regarding that after the meeting so that we can get some feedback on how that is working and if that is going to be helpful at this point. Sergeant Robinson,
Yes.
go for it.
All right. Thank you. Once again, I will be covering for Lieutenant Garvin for PSA 209. In the last 30 days, there was 2 assault with a dangerous weapon. Both locations, the assault with dangerous weapon happened at one location, 2 separate incidents. The first one happened in April 17th at the 1200 block of New York. The second one occurred on May 4th, same location. Both incidents, the individual was stopped and placed under arrest and charged accordingly with a felony assault with a dangerous weapon. The weapon that they utilized was a pair of scissors for the first one. The second one was a knife. No one was injured or no one was stabbed. All right. In PSA 209, there was only one burglary of a business. That would be the Sephora, the 1000 block of F Street. I believe MPD put out a be on the lookout of a darkened color sedan with tinted windows. 5 individuals went inside the location and took numerous items from the business. As far as motor vehicle thefts, there was only 2 motor vehicle thefts in the past month. The 2 brands were Hyundai and Kia, or car makers were Hyundai and Kia. Once again, if you do have a Hyundai or a Kia, you may stop by any police station and advise that you're a DC resident. Show them your driver's license, and they will give you a steering wheel lock. Or what we're doing now is also doing air tags. You can also stop by the Apple Store in Georgetown or any electronic store and just purchase a air tag, and I'll just place it in in an area that is well kept. As far as theft from autos, there was 5 theft from autos. Whenever you're parking your vehicle, please make sure you park in a well lit area. And as far as thefts, the thefts remain the same. The previous month was 34 thefts, and this month, in this past month, it was only 33 thefts. Majority of thefts are occurring in the business location, as far as CVS, Sephora, H&M. We do have officers at that location, and they are making arrests as well. And that is about it. My apologies. All of this was short notice for me.
That's perfectly fine, Sergeant. We appreciate you being here and giving that update. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Sergeant Robinson?
I also have 2 pass-ons for from Lieutenant Garvin. He advised on May 21st there will be a community walk at 2 p.m. at the at City Center. The starting point will be at Tate. And also, please make sure you guys save the date for June 22nd, which is a Saturday, between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. There will be a community law enforcement kickball game. More details for that is forthcoming. And that is it.
That's terrific. Commissioner Lee will look forward to the kickball event. Go ahead.
Officer Robinson, I think you mentioned that there was like a smaller crime spree at 11th and New York Avenue these past few weeks. Why that particular area? It seems
Correct.
Like
the 1200 block of New York Avenue. So in that area, there is unhoused individuals that frequent that area, at which point they it becomes a disorderly area. And I'm guessing that they had a physical altercation, which led to an individual pulling out a pair of scissors, and another individual on a separate date put out a knife. In reference to that, I do believe Officer Charles from the community outreach and unhoused officer, she is going to that location to see if they can if she can give assistance to those unhoused individuals.
Terrific. Thank you. Do any community members have any questions for Sergeant Robinson?
What? Hospital is. All right. I got it.
Okay. I don't see any questions in the box at this point. So, I do see a hand up. I'm sorry. There is a hand up. Mark Lyon.
Hi. Yeah, this is Mark Lyon. I had a request for MPD. Next year when Police Week comes around, would it be possible for the police department to work with the other city agencies to locate parking spaces for the many police trailers that seem to come in and populate our streets? It would be helpful if they had a designated place to park that wasn't the bike lane or, somewhere else like that we shouldn't be parking.
All right. So in reference to that, that's more so Special Operation Division, and they advise them of once they get to the location to park in a valid parking spot. Once again, we can always advise Special Operation Division to reiterate that to the outside agencies that are parking in the bus lanes, no stopping, no standing, fire hydrants, because I have seen that frequent in the last 2 or 3 years that they're just parking all over the place for long periods of time.
Yeah, that would be great. It would even be nicer, I think, if we could designate a specific place, knowing that they bring these, every year. If we have a city lot somewhere that we could direct them to park in, to make it a little bit easier to comply. So, thank you.
All right, now thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That's a great suggestion, and we will also pass that along to MPG. Thank you so much, Sergeant Robinson.
All right, thank you.
We'll move forward with MPD 1, the First District Crime and Awareness. Do we have Cap? There he is. Hornback.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey,
Yes.
Good evening, Captain Herbernack with the First District. Not significantly much different to report than 2D's report. Overall, we had no Part 1 or violent crime offenses that occurred in the 1D area of ANC 2C. So we're continuing to see the downward trend of violent crime in the Chinatown Penn Quarter area, with about a 60% decrease in robberies overall in the Chinatown area. So we're going to continue our deployment, continue our mountain bike and foot beat deployment. Two of the areas that we are seeing challenges continue to be motor vehicle theft and theft from autos. Although those are trending in the right direction, they still remain high year over year. So we want to just kind of reiterate what Sergeant Robinson said, but also, every community meeting I go to, I extend this invite, and we've done it a couple times. Residents or landlords or management companies that have parking garages that would like us to talk to them to go over how to better secure garages. We do see a lot of theft coming from parking garages. And those are really, like most motor vehicle theft, crimes of opportunity, meaning that, the entrance is unsecured, or there's a person that gains entry through a door maybe that's left open. And sometimes there's not good camera coverage that allows us to solve these crimes. So all those factors together kind of can make a perfect storm where a garage can become a place where we see increased theft from autos. So again, the obvious tactics of keeping those
15 minutes or 10 minutes away from 188.
out of
10 minutes.
But also making sure that you secure your vehicles, but then also a larger sense of securing the garages. We're happy to help coordinate with that. Also, I'm sure our partners over at 2D would help depending on location of the garage. That's all I have to report. At this point, I'm open to any questions.
I've heard numerous comments from community members continuing to applaud the community hub on H and 7th Street. So that's still been going well.
Yes, absolutely. So we have two officers that are more permanently assigned to those positions at the hub. And one of them is our senior police officer, Evelyn Simmons. She's worked very closely with a lot of the surrounding businesses. When she's not actually in the location, she conducts business checks with the surrounding businesses. So, we really do, given its name, see it as a hub for not just us, but the other agencies that we kind of partner together. And then we also see people coming in for community events and stuff like that. So we're kind of using it as a base of operations as the weather warrants for a lot of our foot beats and bike beats that'll be in the area as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Commissioners, do you have any other questions for Captain? I see I have one hand online, and that is Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, of course, I have to comment about the hub. I was there a week ago yesterday, and the wheelchair lift, I would give it now a B-. After about 10 or 15 minutes of struggle, they did get it to work to get me in my power wheelchair into the hub. But it's still, they were going to call maintenance. There's a set of electrical cables that are obviously frayed. and the covering on them is like stripped off. So it still look, I was still concerned. So you're up to a B minus. Let's please be safe for and also accessible and actually comply with the law, please. Thank you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll speak with our assigned officer there and make sure that request is put into the DGS, which does our building maintenance, and make sure that that's in there. So hopefully next month we can get us up to an A minus, A plus, somewhere in that range.
I will be back.
Very good. Very good.
Please, Nancy, keep us informed. Thank you. Any other questions from community members here? All right. We'll move forward with the office of Ward 2 Councilmember Brooke Pinto's office. Maddie, are you on with us this evening?
Yes. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hi there.
Great. So I'll just give a brief update this evening. For those who don't know me, my name is Maddie White. I am Councilmember Pinto's scheduler. I also cover ANC 2C and ANC 2D for our office. I'll start with a brief budget update. The council committees voted on their FY25 budget last week. And the first full council budget vote will happen after Memorial Day on May 29th. The second vote will then happen on June 12th, and the third and final budget vote will occur before the end of June. Councilmember Pinto remains focused on ensuring that Ward 2 priorities are funded in what we are considering a pretty tough budget climate this year. I've said them before, but her top 3 priorities remain funding for improving public safety, revitalizing our downtown, and funding our public transportation system. A common question that we received during debates around our security legislation was what more needs to happen to address our public safety challenges. And one area that the council has recognized is the issue of truancy or students missing school. So Chairman Mendelson held a roundtable yesterday on 4 different bills introduced on truancy and absenteeism. So in the 2021 and 2022 school year, 48% of DCPS students were chronically absent, meaning they missed at least 10% of school days. So there were 4 bills in which a roundtable was held, and they propose a number of changes, mostly changing how absenteeism data is reported. Currently, this data is published annually. So one of these bills would change that to monthly reporting. And it addresses programs that are meant to curb absenteeism and would require reporting on these programs and what the outcome of these programs are. We're also seeing various violence prevention programs that would refocus specifically on schools that have the highest rates of absenteeism. And another example would be providing caseworkers to home visits with students who have missed 20 or more days of unexcused absences before the next school year begins. And another bill in which the roundtable discussed deals with discipline for students who have committed crimes of violence. So we expect that some of these bills will end up before the Judiciary Committee for a public hearing in May or June. Councilmember Pinto has shared that she wants to expand the family engagement partnership, which connects chronically absent students and their families to partners who conduct home visits and follow-ups throughout the school year. We're also focusing on improving literacy rates this budget season, so making sure that there's out-of-school time programming that's robust and available, and working on employment programming and opportunities for our youngest residents who are of working age who need money in their pockets. So we're hoping to see some movement on this legislation. A few other things, we're hoping to see some movement on our legislation surrounding mopeds, which I know is one that we've noticed to become very prevalent, happening with food deliveries, Uber Eats, DoorDash, that sort of thing, as well as just general deliveries. So we're working on legislation regarding those types of vehicles, as well as changes to our amplified noise regulations, which we know are not currently working and not currently allowing residents to live in a reasonably quiet environment in their own homes. So that's another one going on now. And then another update is WMATA has recently released a summary of their proposed changes to Metro bus service as part of the 2025 Better Bus Network project. I'll share a little bit more information in the chat about this, but WMATA will be hosting multiple public hearings, both in-person opportunities and virtual opportunities this June to receive feedback on their proposed redesigns of different Metro bus services. And finally, this Friday, May 17th, is Bike to Work Day. So typically our team meets around 14th and U, and we bike down to Franklin Park all the way to the Wilson Building. So be on the lookout for some meetup info if you're interested in joining or for your own bike to work experience. I will post some information in the chat. Chair Schenkel, if you wouldn't mind sharing that, and I'd be happy to take any questions that y'all may have.
Terrific. Thank you so much for that update. We have at least one great bike lane on 9th Street and one coming on 11th Street. So those are all active, and 15th Street as well. So please, May 17th sounds like a good day to get those bikes out. Thank you for the update. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Councilmember Pinto's office?
Hi, Maddie. You mentioned something about mopeds and regulations. What's the issue? And what are some of these regulations you have in mind?
Yeah, so some of the things we're hearing about from constituents are in regards to mopeds being used specifically for food delivery, and some of them being unregistered, unregulated, issues with both safety and noise with these mopeds. So I just will share this specific, it's the Moped Registration Accountability Act. So it's focusing specifically on unregistered mopeds and making sure that they're getting registered and will be following safety and traffic laws.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilmember Pinto's office? Yes, please. Could you step to the microphone for me? And please be cautious of the wires that we have.
Thank you. I'll try not to trip. I'm Ralph Turkowitz. I'm president of the residents of Terrell Place, and I applaud all the actions to increase the bike lanes. My question is, when are you going to enforce people riding on the sidewalk? We have a tremendous problem with devices in front of our building, people being complained about being knocked over by mopeds and scooters, and we're really anxious to see the city enforce the use of those wonderful bike lanes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the question. And yes, absolutely. It's a priority of the council member to keep sidewalks safe for pedestrians. And right now we are currently working on moped legislation, but I think what your question addresses is scooters and e-bikes and regular bikes on the sidewalk, and making sure that there are accessible bike lanes for folks to transport that way and not on the sidewalk. We're not currently working on prevention for the sidewalk in terms of legislation, but I think it's a great idea, and I'll definitely bring it up to the council member.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. And Maddie, I know that there is legislation on the books that bicycles are not to be utilized in the downtown district on the sidewalks, but that has gone unenforced for years. So having an enforcement mechanism for that, or just education for people that, hey, take the bikes off the sidewalks. With all the technology we have today with the city bikes and the scooters and things like that. Certainly GPS has advanced to the point to know when they're on a sidewalk. So.
Right. That's a great point. I will be sure to keep talking about that one and see what's going on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for your question. We would like to now start with our special presentations. We'd like to invite Christopher Powell. I'm not sure who you have on with me this evening. Christopher from the mayor's office.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, we've got a special guest in Deputy Mayor Turnage, and I'm going to share my screen, and he's going to do a quick overview of the human services side of Mayor Bowser's budget this year. And if you just give me 1 second, I can get that up and then turn it over to him. Just need to mute.
Hello, can you hear me? Hit me, raise your hand.
You're a little light on the sound there, sir.
Okay, wait 1 more second. Where's my volume? I don't see the volume button. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better. Yes, sir.
Okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to hit three slides, and then that leaves time for questions. I have with me Laura Zeilinger, who is one of the country's foremost experts on homeless services. She knows a lot more about this than I do, so she can help me out here. First slide is slide 3. I just want to give you some sense for how difficult the budget environment was that the mayor had to operate in putting the fiscal year 25 budget together. We had a wicked combination of significantly increasing costs brought on by a number of items that you see listed to the left of this slide, not the least of which was a $928 million bill for WMATA. Have labor agreements at $591 million. In addition to increasing costs, we have the expiration of federal funds from the American Rescue Act. Those funds total about $2.3 billion, and they expired for recovery funds. There was an additional $618 for education and $418 for rental assistance. Again, those funds expired at the end of fiscal year 24. And because of the citywide policy on telework, there's a lot less traffic downtown, a lot less traffic across the city. So revenues, which have been growing at an annual rate of about 6% a year, were projected for the next 5 years to grow at 2%. Now I want to jump to slide 13. This slide summarizes the human services investments that were made by the mayor and are now being considered by the council. One of the largest investments was $64 million to create additional permanent supportive housing and congregate shelter space for the existing federal city shelter. There's $30 million to support rental assistance through the Family Rehousing Stabilization Program. The mayor allocated $23 million for renovations to some of our shelters, including low barrier shelters. There was also increases to increase the required cost of living adjustments for persons who receive temporary assistance for needy families. And there are a whole list of investments. To the right of this slide, you see where the mayor is continuing to invest in our seniors. Well over almost $2 million for a variety of programs. Most notable is we are planning to spend about $750,000 to provide an expansion of the Safe at Home program. This is a program where they do in-home adaptations to help adjust the residents of seniors so they can reduce the risk of falling. And we have proposed a $22.5 million allocation to build a new animal shelter at DC, at the DC Village in Southwest DC. I will turn quickly to slide 14. These are the investments that are made in this area, Ward 2. Most of you probably heard about the $515 million that is being allocated to revitalize Chinatown. This includes the sports arena revenue package that was instrumental in keeping the Nationals and our hockey team in the city. This package will also include revenue to make streetscape improvements, activate public space, and expand green space. There's a $10 million investment, go back once, $10 million investment to improve parks and roadways. This is the historic Green Triangle, and it connects Farragut Square to McPherson via Green Boulevard. Go to the next slide, please. There's $194 million to modernize and renovate public schools, including the new Center City MS and Seton Elementary School. Center City MS is middle school. There are a lot of upgrades that are needed at the Martin Luther King Library. It's $886,000 worth. And then there are some significant investments for transportation and environment, mostly to maintain the streets, to improve pedestrian and bicycle safety, to make bus priority improvements on 18 different segments, including those listed. And then there's $1 million that are being allocated for a comprehensive downtown transportation vision. So I know you may have a lot of questions, so I don't want to take too much of your time running through a list these investments. I would ask if you want a copy of the presentation that has all of the investments for each functional area of government. Just send Chris your email and he will make sure you get a copy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I'm just out of curiosity, I'm curious about the MLK library and the $890,000 investment in mechanical. Do you know what that's for?
We can get that. You know, it may well be that there was it may be replenishing a maintenance reserve, but you know, the library is a you know, a pretty complex operation, and if they have specific mechanical repairs to make, particularly on certain expensive systems, you could easily hit that figure. But we'll get that and send that information to you.
I was just curious, since they just went through a $200 and some million renovation, on why that would be particularly the case. Deputy Mayor, do you feel that there is enough resources for those who are unhoused in our city as far as the budget goes?
That's a very good question. I think there are three components to that problem. It is one of the more complex problems in this country, not just in the district. And Laura can speak more to this issue. First, I don't think we'll ever be able to build our way out of the housing problem, because it's a national problem. We can, but there's some things that we can do to make homelessness very brief, very rare, and non-recurrent. And I think we're doing those things. The mayor has invested hundreds of millions of dollars since she became mayor into this particular issue. One of the challenges we have now is we have a lot of housing vouchers that are not being presently used because we don't have the caseworkers to match to the residents who have the vouchers, so we can't get them matched to a particular unit. But when you look at the dollars that are being spent for family homelessness, for single adult homelessness, for low barrier shelters, for congregate shelters, for non-congregate shelters, the numbers are in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So it is a area that the mayor has not been shy about investing significant dollars, but it is an amazingly difficult problem. And Laura, if you have anything to add, please do.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. I'll just think you hit it on the head. The only thing I'll underscore is it's I would say it's less about how much investment, but are we making the right investments and things that are the solutions and that are gonna allow us to engage people where they are and connect them to resources. And, as the deputy mayor said, prevent homelessness when possible, make sure when people enter homelessness, we've got the right setting and care and the resources to help them exit. And so there are significant investments. We had an infusion of federal resources as well as local permanent supportive housing in the 22 and 23 budget, but primarily in 22 in the form of emergency housing vouchers that we're still using. So while we don't have the same level of vouchers and long-term housing subsidies in the mayor's FY25 proposed budget, because we're still using those resources and our permanent supportive housing providers are still scaling their staffing, we have major investments in other gaps in our system. So the deputy mayor talked about a number of the capital investments. We also will open 2 non-congregate shelters this year that will provide a different setting for people who came in, for example, to our PEP V program in hotels to come into non-congregate bridge housing, where we can support them on pathways to permanency. So the mayor's making the right strategic investments in order to continue our progress, and we're making a lot more progress than other major cities.
I appreciate that. And I think that one of the things that we as commissioners, at least I as a commissioner here consistently, is the need to help our unhoused individuals get those vouchers, get housing. If you come to the MLK library in the evening, we have gone from 10 to probably 40 or 50 people sleeping under the awning, which is completely unacceptable in the nation's capital. And I just do not understand how these individuals can still be here month after month after month. If we're talking about low barrier access, I bet if I went to any one of those individuals out there and I said, let's get you a place to sleep tonight, I don't think any one of them are going to say no to me. I may be surprised to that if they did, but a lot of these individuals out there, I just don't believe that. I have a problem. I have a real issue believing that the caseworkers are effectively reaching these individuals to get them into care and to get them into services.
Well, I mean, what I would say that, and Deputy Mayor, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak before if you wanted to.
Go right ahead.
Is that you would be surprised that we probably know each and every one of them by name and have pretty clear sense of what our engagement history has been. Some people may already be matched to housing, but we're meeting people where they are. And we'll continue to persistently engage and offer the resources that we have. And I'm also happy to pair an outreach worker with you to walk around and just and really help, because it is complex. It's hard to relate to from where you and I sit, that people wouldn't accept an offer. And if there was a viable offer of a place to go, why would they be out in the rain on a night like tonight? But there are people out there tonight who we continue to outreach to and provide offers, including offers of apartments that they can move right into. So folks have suffered for a long time. There's a lot of lack of trust in the government and people generally, a lot of mental illness, and it does take a persistent and holistic approach. And while it does, and if it may not feel like it's happening because people are still out there, we're not giving up on people until we get them in. And we also had a lot of great success with a lot of people, and we will continue persistently.
Awesome. I would love to be matched with one of the outreach workers.
Okay, we'll follow up with you. Fantastic.
I'd love that.
I'll join you as well.
Terrific. That'd be great. I have commissioners. Do you have other questions?
Yes, since we're talking about homelessness, so the the building in Green Court Alley that was slated to become a shelter at some point. Can you hear me? I was
Yes.
wondering if there's any update on that.
That it's a ways off, but their work is continuing. Laura can give you the latest update on where they are in the process, but there's still some decisions that have to be made, and we wait for those decisions to be made. Once the DHS is given the green light, there will be a significant engagement with the community around the property to make sure that everybody's on the same page about how this facility will operate. Laura, please add anything you would like.
I don't have anything else to add on that one.
Okay.
I mean, have any decisions been made about what kind of a shelter it would be?
The final decision to be made on that building has not been made. We were in a meeting
Sorry, can you speak a little bit louder?
The final decision that to be made on that building's use, the final decision has not been made. We were just in a meeting last week about what the nature of this, what the nature of the building would be, whether it would be a low barrier shelter or some other type use. I know the executive officer of the mayor wants to come back out and visit the property, and then some decisions will be made.
Okay.
Hi, Deputy Mayor. My name's Thomas Lee. Could you go back to slide 13, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll have to ask Chris to pull it up.
They're online.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, there you go. Maybe it's, yes, there you go. I wanted to ask a question about the top line, the bullet point.
Yes.
The $64 million for permanent supportive housing, that is, I believe that's at 3rd and D Street Northwest.
That's correct.
Right. There's currently a shelter there already that houses 1,500 individuals. How many more beds are you thinking of putting on that site? When do you think that will be built out? And were there any other sites that were considered for such a large development? I guess my concern is that since there's already 1,500 individuals there already, and with the mayor's intent to invest heavily in downtown, my preference would be to definitely house people rather than have people unhoused. But I'm wondering whether there were any other sites that were considered just to spread out the services that could be offered.
This is a very complicated project. Laura can give you some outlines. It's not a matter of adding another 1,500 people to that particular site. It's turning the site into a location that includes the kind of housing that is more modern day with respect to how we treat people who are homeless. Laura, can you give him just an overview?
Yeah, first of all, there are not 1,500 people there, so that's good news. I think at one point in our history there may have been. We think that number is probably closer to about 400, and it was under 400 during most of COVID. The main program that is run there is run by a group called Center for Creative Nonviolence, or CCNV. They actually own the parking lot, and they have legal title to that through the land deal that was done many years ago between the federal government in response to a lot of activism around homelessness and unsheltered homelessness. CCNV runs the shelter inside, and they run it without government funding, except for some additional capacity we pay for during hypothermia. The building is maintained by DGS, and CCNV operates in there with a license agreement. The conditions are deplorable, and it is not viable really to renovate that building, although the district has poured millions into trying to keep it up and standing over years. What this capital investment does, which is extremely exciting, is it's a build first strategy that allows us to replace the current facility with something that is a much more moderately sized shelter that we will agree on the capacity with CC&V, who is very committed to continuing their presence in the downtown, doesn't want to be pushed out. There are a lot of folks who've lived there for a long time. So we will work with them on a much smaller shelter program and housing for people as well with the right services. They will run a smaller shelter, and the district will work with them on providing housing with services as well as senior housing for people there. And so it will really transform, we think, that block, as the deputy mayor said, to be something that is much more future thinking, but also really using a built environment to promote well-being. So we will work with CC&V because they own the land that we're building on. They own that parcel where the parking lot is. We must agree with them on exactly what the configuration will be, what the program will be, in order to have a viable path forward. So we've engaged somebody, an expert, to work with us who's got great relationships who with CC&V and the government to sort of mediate that conversation. And once we have the beginning of an agreement there on the terms, we will bring in some key partners like the downtown bid, Georgetown, and a lot of folks who have had a lot of interest and investment in that second site and that parcel at 2nd and D for a lot of time. But we are very, very excited to finally do something that's different. Once we build the new building, then the federal city shelter building will be demolished. And then what happens there in terms of redevelopment will be a separate and different conversation that at this point we're not even having. We need to first come to terms with CC&V on the new development. The first year has $11.5 million in the capital budget to begin the design and planning, and for to start off the project, and then the remainder of the 64 million will be in the out years. We also expect that we will leverage other affordable housing resources to really maximize the housing portion of what we built.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have 2 hands online from community members. Is there anybody in the room that has a question? Okay. First, I'd like to pull up Nancy. Are you still wanting to ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, please.
I just like to follow up on Commissioner Strauss's excellent questions about 1339 Green Court. If there's going to be a walkthrough of the property, is there any way that Commissioner Strauss or any of us immediate neighbors could be involved in that from the community? I continue to be very concerned. My name is Nancy Groth. I live in the residences at Thomas Circle, which is a seniors community that abuts this building on 2 sides of it. It is completely landlocked by 2 alleys, and the other 2 sides are contiguous with a seniors and disabled population of 150 fragile people who were terrorized in 2022 by the criminals at the encampment across the street, who moved into that alley also. We had a lot of criminal activity in that alley. There's a long history of this that has been extremely challenging for our residents and our management. So we have a lot of skin in this game. We are not NIMBYs or opposed to shelter, and we want our unhoused neighbors to be housed with dignity, but we really want to be part of this conversation before all the decisions are made. I noticed that it's not on any of the funding lists for this year. So presumably that gives us some time to develop some consensus here and to work through this constructively, please. That's my request. How can we be involved before the train tracks are already laid here towards whatever decision you're aiming for?
So if the question is, how can you be involved in a walkthrough prior to a decision being made by the executive, I don't think that's a problem. There are probably some safety precautions that.
Sorry, Deputy Mayor, you need to get closer to your mic.
I'm sorry. So if the question is, can
Yeah,
you?
there are safety precautions about the actual location of this building. Someone is going to be hurt by a truck in this alley.
Do you want me to answer your question?
Yes, please, Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
If you want to have a walkthrough of the building prior to any decisions being made about its highest and best use, we can arrange that. We'd have to go through DGS, and they can outline what needs to be done to do that, to make sure that nobody gets hurt, and because it's an old building, probably needs some work inside. We don't want anything to fall on somebody and hit somebody. So that's something that can be arranged. As for being involved in the planning for the use of the building, we rely on DHS, which is an expert in this area. If we decide that it's going to be a shelter or a shelter of any type, we rely on DHS to take the lead in that process and make sure that the community is involved in that process. DGS, frankly, is waiting for guidance from the executive office of the mayor about how they should proceed. Once they get that guidance, then they can begin to work with the community if the decision is made that a shelter would be the highest and best use. Laura, you want to add anything?
Just to your point about the budget and not seeing it on this list, there were prior year appropriations that would go toward the renovation of the space. So there are capital dollars, I believe, identified once there is a clear path forward.
Even getting some notice about construction activity.
For sure.
Many practical issues here.
We will, and we do have a habit of bringing together stakeholders to form community advisory teams to work with us on things that we can make decisions together around. And we will engage with you and with your ANC as we have a green light to be able to move forward on the project. So I understand your interest in why and the impact that it has on you. And we're really happy to make sure that your voice is at the table as well as others in the community. We just are sort of at a holding pattern because we don't have anything we can share yet. We're waiting for a final decision about before we can even begin that conversation.
Yeah, all we will
Thank
want
you
really
so
is a
much.
voice at the table,
Yes.
so that it is not presented to us as, oh, but we've already made all these decisions already.
Thank you.
I
Nancy.
can commit that.
Yeah, we will make that request. And we heard Laura Singular, sorry, indicate that is in fact the case. They will reach out to us.
Thank you.
We have one final question from Terry Carter.
Hi, thank you. This is for the deputy mayor. Last month, Fresh Farm, the nonprofit organization that operates farmers markets around the DMV, announced that after 20 years, they were shutting down the Penn Quarter farmers market because of decline in revenues since the pandemic. And that's understandable. We've seen businesses shut down. I think that the mayor has put together a very good revitalization plan. However, this farmers market, which has been part of our community for 20 years, was never consulted by the city in its revitalization plan. The executive director of Farm Fresh, Hugo Mogollon, said he had not heard from anyone involved in the planning efforts about what role Fresh Farm could play in the revitalization. This is a big loss for us. And my question to you is, you obviously overlooked this critical stakeholder. I wrote to the mayor about this, heard nothing back, and to Brooke Pinto, heard nothing back. But my question is, it's not too late to get them involved and see what could be done to help them stay in the area and be part of this revitalization. Revitalization means we don't want to be losing business, we want to be increasing it. So is there a possibility that you would reach out to them and possibly see if you could keep them, the farmers market in the Penn Quarter? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I will reach out to Nina Albert, who is our Economic Development Deputy Mayor. She would know a lot more than I do about whether and how or why not that market was not considered as a part of the effort to revitalize the area. I will, if you would provide me with, if the question is, should somebody reach out to you or the owner, if you would provide me with the information that's needed to make possible a contact, I will make sure that Deputy Mayor Albert receive that information, and I will also ask her about, the history of the decisions that were made and why that area may not, that business may not have been a part of the proposed strategy. Timing wise is not great because the mayor has submitted her budget, and it is now being reviewed and marked up by the city council. We go into budget formulation again, not until roughly October of 25, and that would be for the fiscal year 2026 budget.
All right, I will send that information in. Unfortunately, that will leave quite a hole here, but better later than not. Thank you for your response.
Sure. Thanks for the question.
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor Turnage and Director Zellinger. We appreciate you being here tonight and answering questions of us. Thank you for presenting the budget.
Absolutely. You all enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much. We will now move forward with the downtown DC bid. I believe I saw Lucas was on. Lucas? Okay. We will see if he. He should be able to unmute himself. Let's see here. Lucas, are you able to unmute? Okay. We will go ahead and move forward. And Lucas, maybe you can try to reconnect and see if we can get you connected in.
Terry Carter, can you forward your email that you sent to the mayor and just CC the ANC, because the farmers market is in my SMD. Well, it borders Michael and our SMD, and so I'd like to do what we can to help facilitate their return. If not this year, then definitely next year. So, Terry, do you have our email addresses?
Okay, we will move forward. And next up on our agenda for local events that impact the community, we have a presentation regarding Capitol Fringe, and Julianne.
Hello. Wow. Okay. I'm Julianne. I am the founding director of the Capitol Fringe Festival. We were founded right here in downtown DC 19 years ago, and we have been all over the city serving over 400,000 individuals as patrons and 52,700 artists in venues all over the city. But we are back in downtown DC this year. We are going to be on Connecticut Avenue we're going to be using the former Talbots that's been vacant for over 15 years. And we're going to be in the former Gap, which has been vacant. I feel like this is sort of funny, but it's been vacant for over 10 years. And then there's a T-Mobile store that's vacant there as well, and a new Johnson & Murphy that just was vacant as of April. So we're going to have 3 venues there. We're going to call them Bliss, Delirium, and Laughter. That's because the theme of this year's festival is happiness. And we are currently, are you sharing the thing I sent? I would. The theme of this year's festival is happiness. And is it possible to be happy in the nation's capital, the home that we have here in the District of Columbia? We have an open call right now for individuals from anywhere to share images of things that make them happy here in DC. So if you can scan the QR code, or I can hold this up, please share your images of happiness with us. They will be projected on Connecticut Avenue as well as other places in the city. Tickets are $15. The artists receive 70% of the ticket revenue. Shows run Thursday through Friday, 6:30 to 10:30, Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 10:30. The festival this year is July 11th through the 21st, and tickets go on sale June 20th. We do have a partnership with the Golden Triangle Bid, and they are doing discounts for us. They're going to the bid businesses, and they're doing a discount program. They really can be a discount of anything, 10% off, 20% off, free gift with purchase. And if you want to do that, you can contact Andrew Huff at Golden Triangle Bid, goldentriangledc.com. We need no approvals. We're just trying to have a theater festival here in downtown DC and bring it back since our founding in 2005. So we're happy to be back. And if you have images of happiness, please go to, if you can get that QR code up, you could scan that, or just go to capitalfringe.org, and that's capital with an A, because it's the area, not the building. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julianne. The Capitol Fringe Festival is always a treat, and is always has such amazing performances. So it's a great opportunity to see so many artists and so many different types of artistry. So thank you for bringing it back to downtown. And sorry it took me a minute to get that up. Sorry about that. Yes. Terrific. Now we have, we'll move forward and have a discussion related to Basis DC, PCS, and a notice petition to amend their charter. And I believe we have on with us this evening folks from Basis.
Hi, can you hear me?
There you go. Sorry, I couldn't find you.
Oh, that's all right. Can you guys hear me okay? Am I loud enough?
Yes, you are.
Hi, thank you so much. We appreciate it, commissioners, for the invitation to be here today, and for members of the public. My name is Alexander Cobalt. If you've been around for a while, you will remember me as Alexander Rose Hennig, and I am the current head of school at Basis DC Public Charter School. I will pull up some information while the incoming head of school for next school year, Miss Calvary Cooper, introduces herself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Calvary Cooper, and I'm the incoming head of school at Basis DC for next school year, as Alex has stated. Thank you.
It's nice to see you.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, ANC, for allowing us to come speak today and share a little bit about our program. I'll be very brief, in part because we have really appreciated our relationship with this ANC for the past going on 12 years. We're located right on the border of C21 and C23, right north of the archives. We have a beautiful, historic orange building with big basis letters on the front. For those of you who have walked past it, I heard talks of the farmers market, and we used to host them right on 8th Street in front of our building as well. And we welcome you to stop by at any time. It's actually a historic building. It used to be a horse stable, a random point in fact that I always love sharing whenever I'm on these local calls. We are seeking to expand our charter. Currently, we serve about 700 students in grades 5 through 12. And we are one of the, if not the top performing middle and high schools here in the District of Columbia. We have loved our relationship with the community. Our kids do tons of volunteer community service. About 1/10 of our families are ANC2 residents, but we pull from all neighborhoods, all wards, all jurisdictions in DC. And we're seeking to expand to grades K through 4. We are in that expansion. We are seeking a maximum new enrollment of about 400 additional students. And those students, as I shared, come from every neighborhood, every ward, every zip code, but our absolute favorites, don't tell the rest, are those in ANC 2 and Ward 2. One thing that we want to share with you, just really big picture, is the timeline. So we have submitted our application to the Public Charter School Board, which we will have our first public hearing about with the Public Charter School Board on June 24th. The Public Charter School Board was set to decide on July 15th in a final vote. However, they just let us know a day or two ago that they're going on recess for July, so that final vote will actually be in August. That said, the reason I'm sharing this timeline with this slide, most importantly, is Basis DC at this time has only sought to expand our enrollment and our grade levels. We have not sought to identify a new facility yet. And it is our belief that the new facility that we identify will not be 100% not be the current facility. So one thing I would like to stress for members of the commission and members of the public is we won't even begin the facility application until once we hear the decision from the Public Charter School Board about whether or not we can serve additional students in kindergarten through 4th grade. At that time, we may come back to you because we've identified a beautiful new building in ANC2, but it may be the case that our facility that we identify is not in this neighborhood. Our priorities for identifying that facility are enough space to serve those primary grades, outdoor and play space, being proximal to our current campus so it still feels like one home for families and students, but not necessarily right on top of it, and certainly not necessarily, definitely not in the current building. We're definitely committed to working with whatever ANC we choose to ultimately reside in. However, We've loved our relationship with ANC too, and really just I was at this ANC meeting not so long ago to talk about an issue that I know was very important and passionate. And actually, we just got some disappointing news there just a few months ago with this ANC and with this public. And many times over the years, I have presented before this ANC. Our kids love volunteering in the neighborhood. Our kids love being a part of this neighborhood. And tonight, we're simply seeking to provide you notice and explain our timeline that while we are seeking to expand grade levels, this ANC does not need to worry about additional students served in that building, any implications to the traffic pattern for that current building, and we have not yet even begun our facility search to determine the final location and will not do so until the Public Charter School Board vote. That said, I see many BASIS families on this call tonight, and if you are a big fan of the education that we provide to students in this city who absolutely deserve the best, please feel free to come provide public testimony at the Public Charter School Board hearings about BASIS DC and share with them at that time or with me now with any questions that this commission may have.
I'd just like to point out that the map that you showed is actually an outdated map of 2C.
My apologies.
That's okay. It's
I think it
still in
updated
the
last
new
year.
2C, but just make sure in other presentations you have the updated map.
Thank you. I do apologize.
No, don't be sorry about that. So is the idea that you would be relocating the entire school? I was a little confused when you were saying, is it just, are you opening a second location, or this will be a full relocation?
I think the most likely outcome is that we will open an additional location and our current facility will stay the same. But again, we have no idea until we know about what the Public Charter School Board grants in terms of enrollment.
Gotcha. And the process was to solicit feedback from us and a recommendation from the ANC to send a letter of support for this expansion and the addition of grade levels. Is that?
We would absolutely love if this ANC chooses to provide us with that support. We've loved our relationship with you over the years and our engagement with members of this community and public. Of course, we ultimately rely on your discretion. Because we're not seeking to open a facility today in your ANC, we weren't suggesting that it was a high critical decision, but we would really deeply appreciate an acknowledgement of the relationship we've had with this ANC in that letter of support to the Public Charter School Board.
Great. Commissioners, any questions? Yeah. Any community members have questions? I see no hands up. I really love the school and have really enjoyed working with you, helping to deal with some of these crises that we've encountered in the last couple of months. But I will turn it over to Commissioner Lee to propose the resolution. You want to put it in a motion? Yes. I do not have the text.
I remember writing the text of the resolution, but I don't have it in front of me right now. But I believe it was, hold on a second, just let me pull it up. I believe it was that we motioned, Thomas Lee motions that the ANC 2C write a letter of support for BASIS DC in their efforts to expand enrollment to grades K through 4 to the Public Charter School Board. Is that correct?
Yes, and I'll add a friendly amendment to that, may I? And also to simultaneously expand the number of students. Is there a second?
Second that.
Commissioner Rowe will second that. And all those in favor? So the 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that we will get a letter of support off for that expansion, and good luck.
Thank you so much, commissioners, and I hope to contact you soon about anything happening in the community.
Awesome. And just one question, I think Commissioner Lee has a question for you as well.
Yes, Alex, I've got a quick question for you on a slightly separate matter. I know that Mr. Terry Carter spoke out just before you got on about the farmers market. It has not performed as well on F Street as it did in prior years when it was on 8th Street, right in front of your school. What has been your experience operating as a school with the farmers market there? Was there issues with, parents picking up their kids? Is there a possibility of moving the farmers market back to 8th Street? Like, what are your thoughts? I wanted to get your, thoughts on this.
So it has been, I think, 7 years since it was on 8th Street. So I don't want, I hope I am not misrepresenting any of my parent community and get an angry email saying, how dare you say that the farmer's market was no inconvenience because I hated it. But I will share that the kids loved the farmer's market. The families every day after school when it was in season would leave the building. I would see smiling faces walking around, purchasing within the community and sharing with neighbors and friends. So from an optics perspective, it was great. I would say as long as it doesn't overlap with dismissal times, then I don't think you'll get very many upset parents, and we would love to welcome them as a fellow member of the 8th Street neighborhood.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I will just say that as many of you know, that there is currently there was a protest that ANC 2C leveraged against DC Smoke, which was proposed location was on D Street there, right across from the basis school. So many individuals participated in the hearing that we did have with APCA, the Alcohol Beverage Cannabis Administration, about that. It was a 6-hour hearing. It was we found out afterwards it was the first cannabis hearing that has happened in the city, and the first decision. Unfortunately, they ruled against us. And the facility has been given permission to enter that location under the supervision of APCA. So I would encourage all of you to write your council members and write APCA related to your disappointment in this matter. I'll just put that forward there. Thank you. And thank you, Alex, for your support in trying to get that through. And also welcoming Calvary. Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Michael, I was able to get off mute. Sorry about that. I hope that I could jump in without jumping over someone else.
Certainly may, Lucas.
All
Go
right.
for it.
Thank you so much. Do you mind if I share my screen? I have just a couple slides. Is that okay?
Please do. Yes.
Can everyone see it?
Yes, we can see your slides.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Lucas Umania. I'm the Director of Public Space Operations. This is my second meeting that I've come to in a row. I plan to be a staple at your meetings moving forward. I think my role is very critical in building relationships with our stakeholders. So I'm really grateful to be part of the community and to be part of your meeting. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I just want to give a couple updates on the work that we're doing around the Chinatown Penn Quarter corridor that relates to clean and safe. I really believe, and I think most of all will all agree that clean and safe go hand in hand. And I think they're very critical to us having a vibrant city. Last month, we launched our safety team in the Chinatown Penn Quarter corridor. The focus of the team is really to observe and to report, to build strong community relationships through business wellness checks that we do on a daily basis. We're really trying to establish a friendly presence through the local community, and through the presence that we're providing. Our teams are out in groups, in sets of 4, 8 hours a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 1 to 9, and then Thursday through Sunday from 2 to 10. And we're out there just providing a presence and really gathering data. We're using technology, an app that we developed that allows us to drop smart tags, which are essentially digital stories of the daily observations that our teams are making, whether they're micromobility issues, which are, a hazardous, and, it's also an unclean look, drug activity, wellness checks, any of these type of observations that they're making on a daily basis, they're able to pretty much digitize them in our app, which is allowing us to gather data that will allow our stakeholders and really our partners to really be proactive, not reactive. So that's a major part of our team. And I wanted to share some stats from our April data on some of the work that we're doing. I think it's very critical for us to really show our stakeholders the value that we bring. And I think data really allows us to do that. So here's some of the data points that that I was able to gather from the month of April. Last month, we collected 33,000 pounds of trash, and this is just in the Chinatown Penn Quarter corridor. We removed over 233 graffiti, posters, stickers, parking signs, small and large, throughout the area. Our safety teams completed 960 personnel hours in the last month of having feet on the ground, pretty much a presence through the community. We completed 548 routes, which are essentially data points that we created through the corridors that we were able to complete last month. That was pretty much 4,345 checkpoints. Checkpoint is a digital geofence area that we created at every corner of the corridor. So our teams, they have to pass the corners. Once they pass the corner, it reports that they were able to hit that checkpoint. We did 375 business wellness checks last month. And that's some of the work that our safety and clean teams are really doing in the area. I know that someone had questions about micromobility concerns. We are working with DDOT to really address this, to really create a path forward that allows micromobility devices to coexist with our stakeholders and our visitors. I think that is a challenge that we have, that we're really putting a lot of focus on. And we will continue to engage DDOT and our stakeholders in finding a solution that works for the micromobility companies, their users, and our stakeholders. So if anyone has any concerns around micromobility, I'm going to share my email address here, and Michael could also share with everyone. Please, anything you need from the bid, any type of support, or if you need any resources, send me an email. I'm extremely responsive, and I take my job very serious. I live in DC. So what really happens in downtown really impacts our entire city. And that is something I take very serious. And I'm here to be part of the solution and work with our stakeholders to be a voice and an ear for everyone in the bid. I've also dropped in the chat a survey, a public perception survey that we'd like people to participate in, and then also a subscription to sign up for our Chinatown Safety Alliance meeting. Today was the first one that we launched today, and we're inviting our stakeholders to come meet with our partner agencies, MPD, the Safety Hub, the government, the mayor's office, to really come together and come up with solutions and be a resource for our stakeholders, but also provide a lot of insight to our partners of what our stakeholders are feeling and hearing. So, we're very excited to be part of the solution, and I really appreciate you having me here today. I know I said a mouthful, so I'll sit back and let everyone come and ask some questions, and hopefully we could provide any support.
Thank you so much, Lucas. We really appreciate it. Lucas is extremely responsive, and I'm just kind of shocked on how much trash we produce as a small downtown. But we'll blame it on the visitors.
No, it's I mean, look, the more trash that there is, that's a good
Yes.
sign, right? We really need people back in downtown, whether it's visitors, our stakeholders, office workers. It's really important. So as those numbers go up, it makes my team, it's challenging for my team, but it is extremely important. And I hope that those numbers continue to increase.
Terrific. We have two questions. Commissioner Lee, do you want to go? I'm sorry.
Hey, Lucas, quick question for you. Is the downtown bid responsible? Would the downtown bid be working on the pavers, the sidewalk pavers, especially some of them that are uneven or missing? Is that part of the downtown bid's purview? And the second question that I have is, when do you think the street improvements will begin to the planters, the street infrastructure that the mayor has spoken about? Is that next year or the following year? Do you have any sense of a timeline?
I'm not really sure on the timeline. I know that we're doing our annual preparedness for plant season. We're going to start planning throughout the bid, hanging baskets, some of the planters that you see in some of the corrals. We're going to do some work around the tree boxes throughout the corridor. So we're starting that this week. Even at Indiana Plaza, I think the work on all the planters starts on Friday. So we're really putting a lot of effort into that. Greenery is very important in a vibrant city, and we're going to continue to really put a lot of focus on that. What was the second question? About the pavers. So DDOT. So we used to do the pavers, and that is no longer the case right now. We're working with DDOT to create an agreement that will allow us to do a lot of that work. There's a legal issue that is not allowing us to really do that work right now. So we're trying to find a solution that will allow us to take that work back and really be a partner for DDOT in this work.
Thank you.
311 though, please put the request into 311. And if you send me an email with the reference number, I will continue. I have contacts at DDOT that I could ping and say, hey, this reference number for this 311 related to safety issues around pavers. So we're definitely I could definitely be an advocate for anyone that provides that. My email's on here. Please reach out.
Great. Thank you. Please.
Hi, Lucas. This is Kasha Kazachik. I just wanted to make sure that you received my email on May 8th. It was regarding like feces on the corner of 500 F Street. Because I sent a picture of it too, the location. I just walked by.
What's your email address?
It's KASIA KOZ at pm.me.
And you sent that to Lucas with a K?
Yes. Yep. On May 8th. LUKAS at downtowndc.org.
Well, please, if you do find it, please don't share the picture.
I will not share the picture. And you say,
It was just a picture of the corner.
So do you
There
have
it is.
I'm assuming it's gone.
No, it's still there.
Oh, it's still there. So
Yeah,
on set,
it's across from. It is across from the fire station,
okay,
and it's under the fuel sign on the corner.
okay.
And actually, I think a week or two, somebody put like sand on it, but it's still like
Gotcha.
there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
do you
I
mind
didn't know where to
forwarding
send it.
No, please send it to, do you
Okay.
mind forwarding that email to me? I'll have
Sure.
my team. I mean, we're doing power washing and you said it was on 7th and F?
It's 500 F Street.
500 F Street.
It's under the fuel sign.
Yep. I will have my team go out there first thing tomorrow morning. And I could definitely address that. I'm very sorry about that. I'm here bragging about my responsiveness and I miss an email. So
I thought
please.
it was a good opportunity.
No, hey, look, I have to be held accountable and I can't, I'm sorry, I missed your email. That is completely my fault. But I'll have a team out there tomorrow to remove it.
All right,
Thanks, Lucas. Appreciate that.
Just want to mention one other thing. There an encampment in Foggy Bottom is going to be taken down over the next few weeks. I'm sure many people have seen an influx of unhoused individuals throughout the bid. So just want to, we're completely aware of that and just wanted to bring that to the forefront so everyone, as if you see an influx of individuals, of unhoused individuals, that is part of the reason that's occurring.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, Lucas. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Have a great one, everyone.
You too. With APCA licensing. First up is convene at 600 14th Street. This is for a new retailer's Class C tavern license. This is Abra 128072. Is Miss Newberry with us?
Yes, Kristen Newby. That is
Hi,
me.
Newby. Oh,
It
Newby.
is
I
a
saw it.
nickname. I have to embrace it. Indeed.
Gotcha.
Yes. So I am attorney, in fact, for the applicant Convene. Convene is the trade name. And they, as you mentioned, the license number 128072, a new retailer's Class C tavern license. As mentioned in the application, the general operations are, so what Convene does, they design and service commercial spaces for clients to work, meet, and host events. They probably won't like it when I say this, but I think conceptually it's easiest to imagine the now bankrupt WeWork type of space, but of course much better. They are applying for a license. So with that backdrop in mind, their operation hours are typically 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. But the hours that we put on the application, because Convene will host events that typically only go till about 9 p.m., but sometimes maybe till 10 or 11, we put the hours as 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. And let's see here. The licensed premises is the 4th floor specifically of that multi-floor building at 600 14th Street Northwest. So that's at the corner of 14th and F Street. There is a restaurant on the bottom that's not associated with Convene. So Convene is only on that 4th floor. And I think that is all the high points. I have, sorry, I forgot to mention, but I have 3 representatives of Convene here with me this evening too, Electra, Alan, and Nick. So hopefully between the 4 of us, we can answer any questions y'all may have.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And sorry about the mispronunciation of your name. So I don't want to mention this again, but is this kind of occupying I believe was potentially in that building. Is that? Oh, it's a different building. I'm hearing it's a different building from that. Okay, never mind. So it's kind of above the Hamilton, I believe, is what you're talking about.
Correct.
Okay, terrific.
Correct.
Awesome. And does anybody from Convene want to talk any more about the model or anything?
I can discuss the model a little bit. So, as Kristen said, we design and then manage corporate events and meeting space. So we've been operating now since, I believe, 2010. Location here in DC has opened in November of 2019. So have been operating in the city for quite some time. Yeah, we enjoy being partners with the building and DC in general.
And
if I could add just a slight thing is that
Please.
predominantly we host corporate events, and predominantly those events are held Tuesday through Friday, not too much on the weekends, just to give a little more context.
Gotcha. Terrific. Any questions from commissioners? This seems like a fairly straightforward application. Thank you for doing business in downtown for sure. We appreciate that. I like to move that we send a letter of support for Convene at 600 14th Street.
Second that.
Oh, please. I'm sorry. We have yep, please.
Have you looked at the parking issue here? Because that's a very busy intersection and there's a lot of other businesses there. So where are people going to park?
We strongly encourage all our attendees to take public transportation to and from the city. So that's typically our first go-to option.
Terrific. So there was a motion on the floor to send a letter of support. It was seconded by Commissioner Strauss. All those in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. We will get that off to you. Do you need a stipulated license?
No, we did not apply for a stipulated license.
Okay. Terrific. Well, thank you very much. We will get that letter off to you.
Thank y'all. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. Next on our agenda is Cafe Concepts, Cafe Floriello at 1001 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is for a new retailer's Class C restaurant. It's Abra 128221. I'm not sure if somebody is from Stephen O'Brien's office.
Hi.
Yep.
Good evening, Commissioner. This is Madame Mahmood with Malleus O'Brien Sandground.
Hey, hello there. How are you doing?
I'm great, Commissioner. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us tonight. I'm joined as well with Ben Grossman, the CEO. And this is going to be Cafe Fiorello. It's taking over the Tadich Grill location on 1001 Pennsylvania Avenue, right next to Central Michel Richard. And our requested hours are Sunday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. through 12 a.m. And this is going to be an Italian restaurant. They have a location in New York, right across the street from the Lincoln Center. So, it's appropriate here being so close to the Warner and Ford. They have great experience with pre-theater meals. They will also be serving breakfast as well as lunch. And we are happy to answer any questions.
Terrific. That's awesome. You said dinner as well?
Yes.
Awesome. Yes, dinner as well. Yes. We were all focused. I was focused on breakfast because I don't know why. But thank you for that. And commissioners, do you have any questions?
Yes, I've got a question. Will there be outdoor seating, and will you offer gelato?
There will be outdoor seating. The capacity for the outdoor establishment is 60 seats and a total occupancy of 84. It will be the summer garden endorsement. That's part of our application as well. And I don't want to speak out of turn,
Yes,
but I'm hoping
we
they
will
will be
offer
serving.
gelato. Gelato will be on the menu.
Kids will be very happy.
So terrific. And you're looking for the outside about 60 seats?
Correct.
Terrific. Awesome. Any other questions? Is there a motion someone like to move?
Like to move to approve the liquor license for Cafe Concepts.
Terrific. I will second that. And all those in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. We will send a letter of support off for that. Did you need a stipulated license?
No, thank you so much, commissioners. The anticipated opening is for the fall.
Okay, terrific. Well, we look forward to coming for gelato, at least for sure. And other things.
Thank you so much, commissioners.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is Chinatown Garden Inc., trade name Chinatown Garden Restaurant at 618 H Street Northwest. This is a substantial change to the retailer's Class C license. Is there someone representing the establishment here? Second. Oops. The application. Okay, the substantial change is the request for a change in hours of the entertainment inside the premises. So the current hours are Sunday through Thursday from 10:20 to 2 a.m., Friday, Saturday, 10:20 to 3 a.m. They are, and the current hours for the entertainment endorsement is 7 p.m. to 10 on Fridays, Saturdays, 8 p.m. to 12. No entertainment Sunday through Thursday. The proposal is to change the hours from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. on Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. and no Sunday through Thursday endorsement. Commissioners,
Can we vote on this if no one is here?
yes, we should vote on this.
So can you remind me what entertainment means? So they already have what they need for operations to be a restaurant and to serve alcohol till 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. So what does that mean exactly? Entertainment.
So the entertainment endorsement would be like to have a DJ or live music or anything like that would be a request for would be the request. So they have it until midnight. Well, they have it until 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday till 12 a.m. And this is just extending it up to the hours of
So there
the,
could be a noise issue. And should we talk to residents who live nearby, hear from them?
the application due date is June 10th, which is before our next meeting. So it has been published. Let's just look at, let's just quickly look at 618H. So this is across from Tony Chen's restaurant. This is they currently have that. It's a nightclub that's upstairs in the establishment as well. It's like a restaurant on the first floor. Second floor is a nightclub. I'd like to move that we send a letter of support for the Chinatown Gardens and their entertainment endorsement. I'll second. Seconded by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. We will send that off. I have not had any issues with them or heard of any issues with them. Oh, I'm sorry. Terry. Did someone?
Hi, thank you.
I'm sorry, I missed you. I missed hands.
That's okay. My concern is that they are not present remotely or in person, and we have no ability to ask them questions about this enhancement. And I don't think that, I think this should be tabled until they can appear before the ANC. And those of us that live in the neighborhood, I'm right around the corner from them. And I'd like to know more about this and ask some questions and get some answers. And they don't even bother to show up, gives me concerns. So my recommendation, I don't know if you can reverse your decision, would be to table this until they're willing to show up and face the community and answer questions, because I don't know what these, they're going to have strippers. I don't know what this means.
No strippers. They can't have strippers. With the entertainment
But
endorsement,
you get the gist of what I'm saying.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. The application deadline for this is June the 10th for a protest to be filed. We extended the invitation to them. They do not have to appear before us, but we can make recommendations on that behalf, but that we can send our letter to APCA. What we have found in the past is that if we do not act, it just goes through without any discussion at an ANC regarding it. So the APCA will not hold the closing date of the protest. They will not change it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that comment. Absolutely. And anybody can challenge a community member, a member of 5 or more that are impacted, that are in proximity to the establishment, can also decide to protest the license.
Yeah, I understand that. And I'm not interested in doing that. I just, I'm disappointed that they didn't even bother to show up in one form or
I am as well.
Another. I think it's irresponsible on their part, but I understand.
Yes,
I understand your situation. Thank you.
And then we have Mark Lyon.
My question was this the same restaurant nightclub that was operating illegally? I don't know, about a year ago. We had a meeting about the Pat Handy shelter, and the police commissioner or the police liaison brought up specifically violence and issues around a nightclub. I can't remember if it's 618 or 610, but that was concerning.
No, this is not the same establishment. They have been operating for some time legally. But this is not the same establishment as previous. That was on the other side of the street, on the same side as the as the Wild Luck House, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry, did we take it? Okay, I just couldn't remember. Got it. Finally, we do have a final application this evening for the Continent DC. Is someone representing the establishment? Hey, how are you? How are you guys doing?
Hi, how are you?
Terrific.
My name is Arturo. I have Chaz here and Adeji for the Continent DC. I used to own the Block Food Hall over on Vermont Avenue, which we closed last year. Chaz and Adeji have taken over my lease, and I'm the guarantor as well. We did have a liquor license prior and entertainment license. Now they're applying for a stipulated license because they're opening later this month. They're getting their health and occupancy this week. Oh, we got the occupancy yesterday or today.
Yeah.
What kind of food?
Oh, they'll be serving African fine dining food. They used to be general manager and manager over at Swahili Village, also Oceanair, McCormick and Schmick, and Capital Grill. So they have a lot of restaurant experience running high-end concepts.
Got it. That's great. And this was not placard yet. Is that correct?
We should probably get that sometime next week.
Got it. You did send me the documentation related to that. Could you describe to us what you are looking to do as far as your hours, your occupancy? Are you going to be using the same license?
No, it'll be a new one.
It'd be a new license, right?
Occupancy is about 175. They're taking over the current block space and also acquiring the Starbucks space next to it. It'll be about 7,000 square feet. Operating hours 11 to 12 on weekdays, and weekends 11 to 3 a.m.
That's what I wanted. Give me 1 second. I thought you sent me the.
Would there be live music or music and dancing?
There'll be live music, DJ, but no dance floors.
And
no dancing. They'll dance at the table, I guess. Dining table. I don't know. I mean, mostly it's tables and booths there, so not much room for a dance floor or anything like that.
Got it. So just sharing the application here with you oops, here we go. Sorry, I think this is it. So this is at 1010 Vermont.
Yes.
Is where it's located?
Yes, right next to Lincoln.
Right next to Lincoln. Okay, got it. And you are going to be, let me see your hours here. Whoops, sorry.
That's okay. That's us.
Let's go to sit down restaurant. Menu, okay, and your hours are there we go. So your hours are 11 to midnight.
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, Fridays 11, and Fridays and Saturdays 11 to 3 a.m. And then Sundays from 11 to 1 a.m. And got it. Terrific. I have, so I'll do two things. We normally do not approve support of license or stipulated license without the establishment being placard, because things can change in the meantime. But what I would say is with this application that has been presented, once the application does receive its placard and I get notice from APCA and it is conforms to the application, I would say that we send a letter of support for the license and the stipulated license for the establishment. It's seconded by Commissioner Strauss. All those in favor? So 3 of 3 voting in favor of that. So we will get that letter as soon as we get the placard. If you receive the paperwork from APCA saying that it has been placard, you'll know it's placard, but if you receive their paperwork, just let me know and I can get the official numbers from them and all the documentation and we can compare it and move forward from there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. And when do you looking to open?
Well, we were supposed to open today.
Oh, you're supposed to open today. Oh, no. Oh, no. You just got the occupancy permit.
Yes,
Okay.
because they needed us to rebuild the vestibule.
Ah,
And we finished that up, but we got the CFO today.
got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What's
Fantastic.
the new target date?
Well,
Tomorrow.
right on it. But yeah, we were thinking sometime as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Terrific. We'll
Thank
get
you.
this off for you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We'll move forward with, oh, please. Oh, another restaurant application. Okay. Hang on one second.
Thank you. I'm Ralph Turkowitz. I'm the president of Terrell Place at the corner of 7th and East Street Northwest. And last month you had an issue with 509 7th Street. You objected to that restaurant, as did we. The residents of the condominium wrote letters and also talked to Commissioner Lee about the live music and asked that we be assured of appropriate noise reductions. We've heard nothing from our restaurant. The restaurant is not here again. I ask that you attempt to block any construction until this is resolved. They've been flagrant in their disuse of this group and been flagrant in their restaurant creation. The last thing I want is a flagrant tenant.
Yep. Understood. Without a doubt.
Thank you.
It is my understanding that, I could be wrong, but it's my understanding that they may have withdrawn their application for that location.
Okay, that's fine. They just
Yeah.
did not have the courtesy to respond to
Right,
anyone.
right. I will send a letter to APCA regarding this to make sure that we are well aware of potential changes.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Most definitely. Thank you. I have 2 hands and I'm sorry, I did not, Terry, were you up just from before or did you have another question?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I had my hand up.
That's okay.
I'll take it down.
I gotcha.
Okay.
Stephen Wall.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Great, thank you so much. My question is regarding an item I don't see on the ABCA agenda. I'm a basis parent of 2 students. We've been very engaged in the DC smoke matter. Of course, we're disappointed, as is so many folks, as we've talked about already tonight. I'm concerned that I don't see a consideration here about whether there will be an appeal of the granting. Is that something that the ANC is still considering?
We have not discussed that as of this point. We do have some additional time to make a determination regarding that.
Yep, we've been in touch with Mr. David Stevenson, and he was reaching out to some folks over in the Palisades about their efforts over there, and they have a lawyer that's working with that group, and I'm going to be reaching out to David, who's reached out to them to see whether we could piggyback off them and have the lawyer review the findings from ABCA and to see whether we have grounds for an appeal. And if so, what would like to know what the cost would be for us to pursue that. So that's something that I'll be working with David on this week.
Well, thank you so much. That's really helpful. I think that was my main question, is that period during which to consider an appeal and making sure that the ANC schedule synced with any decision like that, and that there wasn't a closing of that opportunity before the ANC could make a final decision.
No, we're aware. Thank you though, for bringing that up, and I appreciate you staying on the Zoom meeting here to bring up that point.
Great. Well, thank you. That's helpful.
Terrific. We will move forward with transportation and public space. First on our agenda, I'm not sure if this is being done as a group or not. We have 8th Street Northwest bus stop rebalancing. And I think we have a DDOT person. Is Melanie?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Melanie.
Hi, Melanie. There you go. We can hear you now.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Yes, so I'm Melanie. I'm from DDOT's bus priority team. Chairperson Schenkel, is the my little presentation queued up by any chance, or should I share my screen?
You can share your screen if you could, please.
Fantastic. Okay. Does that look okay?
Yep, we got you.
Wonderful. Great. So again, I'm from DDOT's bus priority team. I wanted to preface this really quick. So my team does a lot of corridor projects on 8th Street, for example. That's where the bus lane came from. However, this rebalancing that we're going to be talking about is part of a slightly different program that my team has kicked off called the Spot Improvements Program. This is nowhere near the scale of a corridor project, and we do these kind of things when we want to go in to make slight adjustments that don't need to have a whole timeline and a whole construction like a regular corridor project. So today we're looking at some bus stop rebalancing as a function of our spot improvement program. So bus stop rebalancing is something we look at when we notice that the bus is stopping at every single block and it's kind of delaying bus operations and costing people riding the bus a lot of time. These delays can really add up over the whole route, especially somewhere with a lot of traffic like 8th Street in the middle of our downtown. So with this little mini project, we are looking at rebalancing for some efficiency, and we would have 4 stops pulled out here in order to help the bus move along through busy downtown. They would be here, the eastbound stops at H and 13th, H and 9th, and H and 6th, and then the westbound stop at H and 7th. These are particularly close to one another, actually. And that is actually the bulk of my graphic. This is a little pinch. I did want to mention very quickly, I will be here managing this effort. However, my last day with DDOT's bus priority team will be on May 24th, which is why I have included our general email address here. Normally we give out our personal work emails, but the bus priority at dc.gov email will go right to the people who need to see it. And the comment deadline on this is June 18th. Thank you. I'm happy to take some questions.
Terrific. So the buses, if you could just go back to your graphic. So the buses will continue to stop where the blue is that correct?
Yes. Oh, we're not going to pull every stop. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, just where the blue dot, not where the big X things are. Got it.
Yes, those are existing stops that will remain in place.
And you're really consolidating, right?
Yes, rebalancing, consolidating. Exactly.
Terrific.
Yeah, looks good to me.
Please. We have a question on the floor.
I'm really not sure why you're wanting to eliminate bus stop number 100 1103. That's just north of this library. and just north of the Smithsonian American Museum. And it's a very convenient one where people can get off at that stop and not have to go to that busy intersection at Gallery Place in order to get there down to those two locations. So I really think that is not a good idea. And I'm going to write to you about that.
Thank you.
Sure, we're happy to take emails. I can mention WMATA does like us to do bus stops in pairs, and so there's not this other one at 9th Street, but please feel free to submit any comments that you may have.
Oops.
Hello, this is Kasha Kazachik. I was trying to understand that bus stop at Chinatown Metro Station because we currently have some bus stops there, but I didn't understand your graphic. Does that mean
Sure.
there's going to be more buses?
Out here, there's one bus stop present at 7th Street and the intersection of 6th Street. The number of buses won't be changing. What happens right now is the bus will stop here at 7th and then it stops actually on the same block in the case of the eastbound stop. The westbound stop, it is about a block away. But so people get right on the bus and then it will stop right away. These were actually planned as overflow stops. WMATA was thinking that there would be crazy high volume. However, the ridership data that we have here, these numbers are total stop. This ridership, in one day, the average of people that get on and off the bus at this stop. And the numbers just show that people have definitely not been using these as overflow stops. They've just been going to 7th. So the number of buses will remain the same and the bus will be able to just stop once at this point and continue with its passengers straight through.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for your question.
I understand the purpose of the rebalancing completely, and it makes sense to me. I do have concern with the elimination of the bus just north of here in that particular location, because it is a convenience to the MLK library, and that stop, I believe, serves like the 80 buses and crosstown buses, et cetera, if I believe I'm correct in making that assumption. And that seems like that would not be the best idea to remove that stop. I see the data and what the data is saying, but I also understand that convenience piece there. Is there a reason that you chose that stop versus the one that's the 280?
Yes, the daily ridership. Yes, that's a great question. WMATA's general guidelines for stop spacing dictate 4 to 5 stops per mile. So we also added that distance, and then when they're any closer than 5 per mile, it is when we really start to see tangible impacts on overall bus performance. And like you mentioned, the crosstown, the X2 runs along here, and that is one of the district's highest ridership buses. So when I measured out the distance, the 9th Street stop, it was too close for those guidelines. But again, we're very happy to take comments and considerations.
Got it. Thank you. I think that I would be interested in understanding more about I would be wanting to I think that if we sent a letter, I kind of agree with this point that if we're attempting to get people to come downtown into the library as a place for people to attend, that we want to have adequate bus access to that stop. And it's also probably pretty close to the Gallery Place Metro stop as well.
And those poor folks at City Center, DC, what would they do without the bus?
Terrific. So I would like to move that we send a letter supporting the removal of the 3 buses and for the reconsideration of the MLK library bus that's just north of this particular stop.
I second that.
Okay. And all those in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. Thank you for that feedback on that stop. Thank you.
That bus stop serves, I think, 4 different routes.
Yeah. Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that. Are you presenting the next one by chance?
I am not. My colleague, Andrew
Okay,
Grinberg.
got it.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you very much for being here and thank you for your service at DDOT. I hope you're staying with DC government, but we wish you the best. Okay, next, we have the curbside regulation changes to the 1000 block of E Street. This is another DDOT notice of intent for feedback. And is Andrew on with us?
Yep. Hey there.
Hey, yep, we're here. How are you?
Good. So my name is Andrew Grinberg. I am also on the bus priority team at DDOT. And so this NOI originated from our office, and the main reason is it does involve a bus stop change as well, but also it's in response to issues that are related to the 11th Street bus lane project that's currently under construction. And I'm joined here by a helper moving in and out of the blur. I'm going to go ahead and share this visual that's in the NOI. So we circulated this NOI on April 22nd, and it's open for 30 business days until June 4th. So taking comment on it now. So this graphic shows the existing conditions on the top of this block. So this is the block of E Street between 10th and 11th Northwest. There's currently a bus stop on the east end of the street. So for similar reasons as what Melanie described, this bus stop is very close to the existing bus stops on E. The current stop spacing, it's only about 375 feet away from the bus stop on 11th on the other side of the intersection. And so that's much too close. And so we're going to, and it also does not have an existing stop pair. It also has a very low ridership, only about 25 people a day board at this stop and about 10 people get off. So would be felt, the impact would be felt by very few people. And those people likely can get on at one of the adjacent blocks. So what we're proposing to do is remove the stop at the east end of the street. The commercial loading zone is currently in the middle of the block. One of the impacts of the bus priority project on 11th was that the FedEx store on 11th, just south of E, right around the corner from here, basically is going to have a tougher time loading right in front of their store since there's a protected bike lane there and a bus lane. And so what we're doing, we worked with that business to establish a proposed much longer commercial loading zone closer to the back of the intersection, so it's easier for trucks to pull into this spot. We're also removing the bike corral. There's like a little bike corral at the back of the block. I believe that's already been moved. And expanding that no parking zone. So that no parking hatch zone can legally be used for loading if someone's actively loading at that location. In keeping with DC regulations, we will maintain the accessible red top metered spot, but we're going to move that to the other end of the block. The 2-hour metered parking will be expanded slightly from about 25 feet to about 40 feet. So the removal of the 80-foot bus or 75-foot Metro bus zone gives us more space to work with. So all the other zones are either being unchanged or being lengthened. And so I will stop there, see if there are any questions about what we are proposing to do here.
I have no questions. Commissioners, do you have questions?
I think it makes sense.
Any community questions?
I think that's the East Street Cinema, I believe, with the awning. I believe that black rectangle that's on the sidewalk, that's the awning of the East Street Cinema.
I don't see that.
What's that?
Yeah. And so the bus stop has been moved or will be moved?
It will be removed.
It will be removed.
It has not yet. So if the after the NOI closes, which is June 4th, then we can submit a work order and basically move forward with processing any of these changes. None of these changes will happen until after that point.
So this is the 10th Street. Yeah, it's right here with Forbes Theater on the 10th Street side. I think that's so. I would move that we send a letter of support for this curb modification designation for the 1000 block of East Street.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. All right. Thank you so much, Andrew. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Here. Awesome.
Chairperson Schenkel.
Yes.
This is Christoph Wassner
Hi.
from DDOT.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I had another meeting tonight, ANC 2D, so I missed the beginning portion of this meeting, but I wasn't able to see if you were mentioned or announced our co-hosting the meeting for DDOT. Have you mentioned that yet?
I have
or I'll
not
announce it
mentioned
now?
that yet, but go for it. Go ahead and mention it.
Okay. Well, I'll share my screen very quickly. For everyone to see. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
So DDOT will be hosting a meeting, co-hosting meeting with ANC 2C for DDOT's Traffic Operations and Parking Plan, TOPP for Capital One Arena. This is similar to the TOPP for Nats for Ballpark Stadium, for Nats Stadium, and Audi Field down Navy Yard. And this meeting will be hosted on June 4th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at MLK Library. So we look forward to receiving public feedback at this meeting. And that's it for the announcement.
So this is a great opportunity for community members to inform this traffic and parking plan around Capital One Arena, especially during games and events. I know that we've had residents that have had challenges accessing their garages and parking areas. So this will provide an opportunity to provide feedback to DDOT. They will take those suggestions and come back to community, I believe, later in the fall for a more comprehensive plan that they have laid out on how to handle traffic and some of these issues. So I think that's a really great suggestion, and thank you for bringing that forward to us. So we look forward to co-hosting that with you.
Thank you, Chairperson.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. We will move forward with zoning, planning, zoning, environment, and historic preservation. So first up is Monumental H Street project for 613, 617 H Street Northwest, a time extension of the BZA.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. I emailed you a copy of our PowerPoint yesterday,
yes.
just after 3:30.
Yep.
And as you pull that up, we can get started. I'm Jessica Bloomfield with the law firm of Holland and Knight. I'm here with Josh Olson and Lewis Kelly of Monument Realty, who is the applicant. You all know this site well. We've been to the ANC a number of times for it. Back in 2022, the BZA approved a application for a residential building with ground floor retail. That BZA application was just for rear yard relief, nothing big. There it is. There's a picture of the approved project. That BZA application approval expires in August of this year. And so we are seeking the first extension. If you go to the next slide, please. This is just the site plan. The property we're talking about is highlighted in yellow at the south of the on the sort of bottom of the sheet on H Street between 6th and 7th Street. That's the property. If you keep going, we submit the application we filed goes into extensive detail on how we meet the legal standard of review. The first requirement is that the extension served on all parties. All parties is you, the ANC. We served you. The second criteria is there is no substantial change in any of the facts. We have no proposal to change any of the approved project. We look forward to moving forward with the project as approved. And C, we must demonstrate that there has been an inability to obtain sufficient project financing. So we were here back in February talking about the I Street project, which on the prior slide was directly to the north. For many, right there in sort of pink, for many of the same reasons, we have demonstrated again in significant detail in our application materials why we have been unable to obtain sufficient project financing to move forward. If you go to the next slide, we sort of bullet pointed some of those. Monument did have an executed term sheet to put the financing in place and was intending to move forward right after the BZA application was approved in 2022. With interest rates rising, the lender backed out. Following that, just significant volatility in the capital markets, interest rates, construction costs, labor shortages, all have made it very difficult to obtain financing since then. There have been no new multifamily construction starts in the past half year, fourth quarter 2023, first quarter 2024. It's very difficult to get money right now. Monument has been working really hard to get the financing and actually believes that they will be able to do so very soon and expect a project to kick off this fall. So while we do need the extension, we also anticipate moving forward very quickly. If you go to the next slide, this just quickly bullets what we have done, demonstrating our commitment to moving forward with this project. We closed the public alley between the H Street and the I Street projects. We processed a subdivision application more recently to create the lot that this building will be built on. Construction drawings are ready to go. Settlement agreement has been reached with DCPL. So Monument is really ready to move forward with these projects and wants to do so as quickly as they can. I would just remind you that if the extension is not granted by the BZA, we're at square one again. So nobody wants that. That is the extent of our direct presentation. We're happy to take any questions and I will leave it there. Thank you.
I have no questions at this point. I think this has been a really challenging matter in getting financing in this market for certain. So I completely understand this. Any questions from community members?
It's my first time. I guess I'm a new commissioner. It's my first time seeing this project, and I like that you're replacing surface parking lot with something of higher use. It's great.
Could you remind me again, this is going to be this is going to be an apartment building or a condo building? Or apartments.
I would move that we send a letter of support for the time extension of the BZA.
I second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Strauss. And all those in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. Do you know when your case is going?
The June 26th.
June
So we have
26th.
some time, but we'd be happy to send you a draft letter if that's
Got it.
helpful.
That's awesome.
Okay. Thank you
Perfect.
very much. Have a
Thank
good
you so
evening.
much. I appreciate you. We have a Chinatown review committee. This is related to Mezcal Cantina at 777 6th Street Northwest. Give me 1 second. Is anybody representing the establishment with us? So this is the replacement of, I believe this is Hal at the Moon establishment, that it will be opening, the premises will be opening under a new name. And this is related to signage, and this is, yes, the replacement of the awning design that's outside, and I believe both of these existing, they either did say, I'm not sure if they still say it, but they said Hal at the Moon for that establishment. And there is a second one as well.
Oh, Hal the Moon is on 7th Street.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is flights. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You are correct. You are absolutely correct. My bad. This is the flights location. So it's replacement of the flights signage and overhead. I'm so sorry. That is absolutely correct. So it'll be changed to this Mezcal. They're requesting our feedback and approval with the signage. Interpretation well? Interpretation well?
Just means bar.
Bar.
Mezcal bar.
Mezcal bar, right. So in Chinatown, all establishments have to have Chinatown, have to have Chinese letters in combination with their signage according to the plan. This does fulfill that, even though the interpretation is not terrific with this. It does accomplish the minimum goal that they need to establish. I do not like that the characters are not as big as the rest of the sign, which they have to be consistent with the size of the lettering. And they definitely did not accomplish that with Mezcal and the Chinese characters.
Do you think we can ask?
Yes, I think we should.
Is there another body that decides like how large the characters have to be, or is that us?
No, that's another body. They did not send me their spec sheet on that, but they will, the Department of Planning does the measurement of it to
So,
make sure
yeah,
that
I
it's
think-
consistent.
Before we vote on that, we got to make sure that
Yeah.
people who really know about this.
Yes, I would say that we send a letter indicating that the Chinese lettering should be more prominent on this sign. I would move that we send that letter. Okay, the seconded by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor, there was 3 of 3 commissioners, everyone's tired. 3 of commissioners voting in favor of that. Next up, we have the National Geographic Museum headquarters and some public space improvements.
Hi.
Hello.
Excuse me. Good evening. Sorry, afternoon. Carrie Kadlacek from the law firm of Goulston and Storrs. I'm the land use counsel for the National Geographic Society. Sent you 2 PowerPoints yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Okay.
exactly what time,
Let me see.
probably early afternoon with our presentations. I can talk in the meantime while you're looking. The first presentation has to do with the public space application for some public space improvements along 17th Street, where that building is potentially being renovated. We've been here before about other things over the years. The base camp project that's going on right now, the potential hotel conversion in the 17th Street building. So it's all related. The second presentation that I sent you has to do more just with an update on the base camp project. That's the project that's under construction now. So we just wanted to inform the ANC and give a little bit more information and hopefully get you excited about what's coming for the base camp project. The first one for the Public Space Committee is the only one that we're asking for the ANC's support on that, since it's actually going to the Public Space Committee. I can see what time I sent it to you. Cary is how you spell my first name. If that's helpful.
Gotcha. I see your email. Oh, here we go. Got it. Got it. Sorry. This one first. Oh, this, let me just show you. Hold on.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. So Jeff Lockwood from Hickok Cole Architects is going to talk about this first.
Hey, Jeff.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Lockwood. I'm with Hickok Cole Architects. We've been working with National Geographic for the last 7 or 8 years on their various exciting improvements on their campus downtown here in your ANC. And we've gone to the Public Space Committee with some streetscape improvements back in 2020, sort of the first sort of round of things. And we proposed mainly changes on M Street and 16th Street. We're still planning to do that work. We have a permit. We went through the whole process and got a public space permit. We had minimal improvements on 17th Street at that time. Now with the possibility of a future hotel, we have decided to go back to the Public Space Committee and make some amendments and basically ask for some different things along 17th Street. If you could go to the next slide. So on the left-hand side of the screen is what we had previously proposed on 17th Street, which is basically just some strategic planting. And we were making some minor modifications to the existing 17th Street entrance. And we were relamping the 2 street lights on that street. So on the right-hand side, you can see we're proposing a little bit more. The main improvements are we are improving the entry stairs. We are adding 2 glass and steel canopies over those stairs. We're adding a ADA compliant ramp just to the north of those stairs, because right now there's not a way to get up onto that plinth from 17th Street. We are making some more extensive strategic plantings along the street. And we're also adding a pickup drop-off lane and platform in front of the entrance, again, to facilitate passengers arriving at a future hotel. And there's a zoom in on the next sheet as well.
Oh, zoom in. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So right, the first slide there is just sort of the existing condition. There's basically it's flat at the sidewalk, then there's 2 steps up, then it's flat again, and then the steps up onto the building. So what we're proposing to do is get rid of those 2 sort of tripping hazard stairs, consolidate all the stairs. We've worked with HPRB to get their approval on this approach and the plan that we're showing you here, and basically make the stairs look like they've always been there, and then add again a series of canopies, the ramp, and some other improvements. So the plan in the middle there, you can see the 2 rectangles are blue rectangles are the glass canopy. The pickup drop off would be in the street on 17th Street. Right now there's a protected bike lane, and so we've worked really hard with DDOT, OP, kind of everybody about how best to design and propose and integrate a drop-off zone with having a bike lane there, with having, you know, people on the sidewalk. And so this is sort of our working with everybody. This was what we came up with and what we're presenting at the Public Space Committee. Although we've gotten good feedback from DDOT and all the other stakeholders in that group.
The bike lane remains?
The bike lane remains, yeah. So basically the bike lane remains, it ramps up to the sidewalk level and then back down. And then we've got an 80-foot no parking zone that would be for cabs and Ubers and those kinds of things it's in front of the platform. And then
So people
regular
would-
parking.
Would be dropped off and they'd have to just walk across.
Yes, and so we've been working, what's not really shown on my colorful plan here is all of the markings and the pylons and all the things that DDOT is requiring, such that, you know, someone getting out onto that platform is aware that there's an active bike lane that they need to cross. Yeah, so that's why we have a, you can see in the section here, there's a 5-foot buffer that would have the posts in it, so that, again, we were avoiding that. It also gives someone getting out of a vehicle onto that platform a place to stand for a second and look, you know, both ways before they cross, before they get over to that bike lane.
That parking lane already there?
So what we've worked with DDOT to do is we're reducing the northbound lane. We're reducing one lane, and basically, so it's one lane, and then it becomes the turn lane up on M. And then there'll be the 5-foot buffer, the 5-foot bike lane. And then we've got just a few images here of the canopy itself over the stair, and then you can see on the left-hand side the ramp that goes up that allows occupants to get up onto the main entry there. And you can continue to scroll. Just that's a sort of a close-up of the ramp. And I think there's one more image looking back the other way. And so again, just to reiterate, we already have the approval for 16th and M Street, but we're back here specifically to show you guys the changes that we're proposing on 17th Street. And so we're asking for ANC support at the Public Space Committee hearing. We are hopefully, I haven't seen the agenda's not out yet, but on the June 27th agenda. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Why did you raise the bike lane again?
So the platform, the actual pickup drop off platform is at the sidewalk level, so that occupants getting out of their cars and everything are able to just directly go onto the sidewalk. So in order to facilitate that, the bike lane's there, so you're ramped up and then ramped back down. That also allows someone on a bike to also realize that there's something going on here, that this is an entrance. It'll also be striped, I think, with the green striping. That means there's a difference, there's a change that DDOT has been using in a lot of the bike lane structures around town.
I think it looks like a very neat entrance. Awesome.
Thank you.
Terrific. I would move that we send a letter of support for the changes. Are there any questions from community, by the way?
What a parody? Hotel on New Hotel?
So the 17th Street building of National Geographic right now was previously office space. Then it was the Australian Embassy's temporary home. And now the thought is Nat Geo is trying to figure out what is the best use for the future of 17th Street building if they don't need it to be office. No. And I guess it's a proposed, the idea of a hotel. So our work here was to while we're doing the rest of the other streetscape and we're doing the rest of the project, to establish the things that we need for a future hotel, whenever that would come online.
I would move that we send a letter of support for this project. Seconded by Commissioner Rowe. Strauss. Oh my gosh, see, it's tiring. Strauss. All in favor? So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the second presentation is just an update on our overall campus project. My name is Emily Dunham. I'm the Chief Campus and Experiences Officer for National Geographic Society. Great.
Awesome.
All right, so if you want to go to the next slide. This is just an aerial view of our campus. The number 3 there is the 17th Street building that we were talking about. You see 16th Street is along number 1 and 2 there. The first building, number 1, was built in 1902. So we've been on this campus since the early 1900s. And M Street will be our main arrival point for all of the public attraction visitors. The new building we're building in our courtyard is that number 5 there, if you want to go to the next slide. So this will be the courtyard arrival experience. It's going to be beautiful, green. We're going to have planters that are celebrating the ecosystem, different ecosystems of the earth, with sculptures of animals that are completely lifelike and scientifically accurate. I'm very excited about welcoming this to the neighborhood for museum guests, but also just for our neighbors to come and have a seat. You want to go to the next slide? This is the inside of the new pavilion structure. You can see it beautiful, nice and light with glass. We will have events in here where the woman is standing on the raised platform will be a stage that is also convertible to a welcome and ticketing desk. If you want to go to the next slide. On 16th Street is where all of our student groups will drop. And this entrance, you see the door to the left there, will be the group entrance. They will come into a historic lobby that we're preserving and go into this very modern space that you see through those doors that are opening, where they will learn about geography and then go out to experience the rest of the campus. This is our renovated auditorium. It's in the same space it has been. We're very excited about the technology in this space. It will play the story of National Geographic's brand every 30 minutes when we're open to the public. But this is also going to be a great space for events, all sorts of things for our programming, but also rentable by the public. We're going to have an archives experience that will tell the history of National Geographic and the different mediums we've used to tell stories over time. So film and mapping and arts and photography, the magazine, all sorts of great things. Of course, we're known for our photography. So on 17th Street, we will on the north side have this photography gallery. Some of the images will be visible to the street for passersby, and then more images for those who are ticketed guests. We'll have a space in our new pavilion on the second level that celebrates the work of our explorers. We are an explorer first organization. And so this talks about what does it mean to be an explorer, examples of the types of work they do and what inspires them and drives them and the impact that they've had. We will have a new eatery, replacing our old cafeteria. This is a sort of early rendering. We'll have a stage with all sorts of events, but this will be a global food hall with multiple cuisines represented that we're really excited about. And then in the evenings in that courtyard, we will have a projection experience. You can see we're using the big media screen in the back that's inside the pavilion. That's the turtle. We'll project onto that new facade with smart glass. We'll project onto the pavers and lights onto our buildings. And this will be every evening after sunset in the courtyard. I'm very excited about this experience.
That be open to the public?
Open to the public. We do anticipate that it will be popular. So we're working on ways potentially ticketed, but free ticket, just so we can control capacity. But we're working through those operational plans. And then I think if you click on this, it may play a video. And if it doesn't, then you can imagine. Let's see. Try it. That might not. We might have challenged it too much. It might have gone to your other browser. That's okay if it doesn't work out. It's just a rendering of the whale moving. And so this is that same plan, just showing you operationally. Number 1 is the new courtyard and the nighttime experience with M Street to the north of it. Number 2 is that brand new building with the beautiful glass. Number 3, the group entrance that I talked about. And number 4, the potential hotel. And that's it. Just wanted to update the group. 2026. Yep. It is well underway. We're on schedule. We found all sorts of fun things, but it's going really well. 150 is the current thought.
What are admissions? What's the cost of admission?
We haven't worked that out yet. I've just engaged a pricing consultant to look at that. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Doesn't that look cool?
This is
So we'll
very
open with
awesome.
a show about oceans, and then we hope to have different experiences over time after we get open and settled and have our operations running.
It's a very exciting reimagining of the space and use of the space. I'm really excited to see it come to fruition.
Thank you. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for your
Thank you
support.
for the
Thank
update.
you. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Awesome. Can we do the treasurer's report, please?
Yeah, very exciting.
You have 5 minutes. And then they're kicking us out. Thank you.
All right. Okay. No, I'll just discuss it.
Can I sign it on your screen or does it have?
Go for it. You have to speak into the mic.
So we have ANC 2C quarterly financial report for fiscal year 2024, quarter one. We started the quarter with $67,608.44 in the bank. We spent $1,000 for minute taking services, and we spent $50 on the ANC security fund. I think we need a vote on the ANC security fund. Is that correct?
We did a vote on it
Did a vote?
in
Okay.
January. Yes.
Okay, so so we have a total expenditure of $1,050 for quarter one, and with an ending balance of $66,558.44. And so I will need your signature. So we need to vote on this.
Yes.
So I vote that we approve this first quarter fiscal 2024 quarter one financial report.
I second that. All in favor? 3 of 3 in favor.
So I will need your signature on this. Check your inboxes.
Got it. I got a thing from ANC.
The invoices for the expenditures are attached to this document. Also, we have quarter two. We do not have any expenses in quarter two as of yet. I guess we're still waiting on
No, there are no expenses.
invoices, but we did get money from the DC government in the tune of $2,271.14. So, and so we started the quarter two with a balance of $66,558.44 in the bank. And we're ending quarter two with $68,829.58 in the bank. So I move that we approve quarter two financial report for fiscal year 2024.
I will second that.
And,
All in favor? It's 3 and 3 in favor of that.
and then I believe we also have to vote to approve the expenditure of translator
Yes.
services.
Yes.
So this was for the Saturday, May 4th event here at the library. The task force presented their vision for downtown Gallery Place in Chinatown. There was a sizable number, because it's Chinatown, we had invited a number of people. Cleaning.
Yes, they're cleaning.
to
It's
attend
cleaning.
the,
Aggressive cleaning.
to attend the meeting from Museum Square and the Wallach House. And since a lot of individuals there do not speak English, we hired translators to accommodate their needs. So we received the invoice. It was in the amount of $760 for 2 translators and their equipment. They believe they had about 40 or so hearing aids for the residents.
That's great.
So I move that we pay the invoice to Transparent. That is the name of the translation service
I will second that. Well, 3 and 3 in favor of that. I think it was a good use of our funds.
That is like an insurance policy to cover any, malfeasance or missing
Uh,
funds.
If we're sued,
Oh,
if we're sued as an ANC.
Oh, you did.
Yes. Yes. Our next meeting is June 11th in this room, I believe. And I would like to thank everyone for attending. And I would like to move that we adjourn our meeting. Seconded. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Please, hey, Cash, good seeing you.
Great seeing you
Oh, Miss, is this your first time here?
Thank you for staying to the end. Just had that basic. And. Oh, for. Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. And I would have, but I knew the name. Yeah. Oh, that's great. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We will respond to those. And I will. How do we? I owe you. Anyway, thank you very much. But looking at the agenda, this is gonna be the last slide. We will make sure that this happens. You're quite welcome. Thank you. Oh, you don't have to do that. They'll do that. We just have to take down the equipment. Let's see, let me stop this recording.
All of these boards out?